Hello friends, Mehjabin here. Today I am going to explain William Wordsworth's super popular poem, The Solitary Reaper. This poem was first published in 1807, but it was inspired by the poet's visit to Scotland in 1803. Behold her, single in the field, yon solitary Highland lass. Behold her. The poet is asking the passers-by, or he is asking the readers to take a look at her. Behold her, single in the field. So he can see a maiden who is working in the fields in the Scottish Highlands, and he says that she is all alone. She is single in the field. Yon means somebody who is yonder or near. Yon, it's a short form for yonder. Solitary, that means anybody who is alone. Highland, Highland lass. Lass means country girl, and Highland means somebody who lives in the hills, in the hillside. So he says that he can see a solitary girl, a country girl, just nearby in the highlands of Scotland, reaping and singing by herself. The girl is doing some work. She is reaping the harvest, and while she is doing so, while she is cutting the crop, she is singing to herself. Stop here means it's a beautiful sight. So the poet is asking the other people who are wandering by, or even his readers, that stop here, or you can pass by gently, so that you can enjoy the beauty of the girl's song, and not only that, the beauty of the entire hillside, along with the beauty of this girl, of this wonderful, beautiful country girl. Alone she cuts and binds the grain. So he says that she is doing her work all alone. She does not have anybody nearby. She cuts and binds the grain and sings a melancholy strain. That means she is singing a sad song. Melancholy means sad. Strain means song or music. Oh, listen. That means please listen to the sound. Please listen to her song. For the vale, that means the entire valley. Profound means the deep valley. For the vale profound is overflowing, that means it is echoing, is overflowing with the sound of the solitary reaper's song, the reaper's music. Oh, listen, for the vale profound, that means the entire valley is being filled up with that beautiful music. No nightingale did ever chaunt more welcome notes to weary bands of travellers in some shady haunt among Arabian sands. No nightingale. So the poet is comparing the beauty of this solitary reaper's song to the song of the nightingale, which is a wonderful songbird. So he says that even a nightingale, which is very popular, which is very famous for its melodious songs, even a nightingale cannot compete with the beauty, with the melody of the solitary reaper's song. No nightingale did ever chaunt. Chaunt means sing or chant. No nightingale did ever chaunt more welcome notes. Welcome means pleasing or soothing. Notes means music to weary bands. Weary means tired or exhausted, and bands means groups of travelers in some shady haunt, in some shady place. Haunt means place or shelter, place of shelter, among Arabian sands, that means among the deserts of Arabia. When the travelers who cross the deserts of Arabia, when they stop by at some oasis, they hear the song of the nightingale and they get soothed by that wonderful music. But in this case, the solitary reaper's song far overshadows the melody of the nightingale's song. A voice so thrilling never was heard. Now here again you see the poet is comparing the beauty of the solitary reaper's song not only to the music of the nightingale but also to that of another songbird, that is the cuckoo bird. The cuckoo, the common European cuckoo bird, it is also known as the quail. It ushers in, its melody is known to usher in the spring season. It gives the indication of the spring season after the long winters. So a voice so thrilling never was heard in springtime from the cuckoo bird. So it was such a thrilling voice. The solitary reaper's song was so thrilling, so enchanting, so mesmerizing that such a thrilling song or voice was never heard in springtime from the cuckoo bird. That means even in the spring season, the cuckoo bird which sings so beautifully, the cuckoo bird's song was also not as melodious as that of the solitary reaper. Breaking the silence of the seas among the farthest Hebrides, the cuckoo bird, when it sings, this is what the poet means to say, when the cuckoo bird sings, it is such a beautiful song that the beauty of that song, it breaks the silence of the oceans or the seas among the farthest Hebrides. The Hebrides is a group of islands. It's an archipelago of hundreds of islands off the northwest coast of Scotland. So it's the silence of the Hebrides is broken by the music of the cuckoo bird, but in this case, again the poet says that the solitary reaper is singing so beautifully, so melodiously that her song overshadows the enchanting music of the nightingale and also the beautiful, the glorious music of the cuckoo bird, the cuckoo's song which breaks the silence of the seas which are bordering the Hebrides Islands. Next, the poet raises a question. He says, will no one tell me what she sings? Obviously, the poet William Wordsworth, he is an Englishman and he is not familiar, he does not seem to be familiar with the native language of Scotland, that is in the highlands of Scotland, the Gaelic language is spoken, and he being an Englishman, he does not seem to be familiar with the Gaelic language which is spoken by the country people of Scotland, especially in the hillside area, in the highlands of Scotland. That is why he is saying, will no one tell me what she sings? So he says that he cannot understand the meaning of her songs. Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow. Plaintive means melancholic or very sad. Numbers means notes of music. They flow, that means they issue out or they come out for old unhappy far off things. Maybe the reaper, this girl, this solitary reaper, she is remembering some past events of her life, maybe some old unhappy things or far off things, maybe some sad events, she is remembering them, and as a result she is singing this song. And she is also it is also possible that she is remembering some past battles or disagreements or fights in her life and battles long ago. Or if that is not the case, then the theme of her song can be something else. Or is it some more humble lay? Or maybe it is her topic is not so complicated. Maybe the topic of her song is not so complicated. It may be something very ordinary. Humble means ordinary, lay means music. Or maybe her music is very ordinary. It is related to some day-to-day affairs of her life, familiar matter of today. That means it is related to some common ordinary affairs of her life, some natural sorrow, loss or pain. Maybe she is remembering some natural sorrow that happened in her life, some grief, some pain, some tragedy, loss or pain. Maybe she is remembering some separation that had happened in her life, that has been and maybe again. Maybe she's remembering some death, the demise of somebody, or maybe separation, and that has been, and she's afraid that if this sorrow had happened to her in the past, there might be a chance that it might repeat in the future, and because of this she is singing this song to express her sadness, to express her grief. And that has been and maybe again a sorrow that has every chance of repeating in the future. Maybe she is haunted by this fear, and as a result she is singing this sad song, plaintive numbers, means this sad melancholic song to express her grief or sorrow. Whatever the theme the maiden sang, as if her song could have no ending, I saw her singing at her work and over the sickle bending. I listened motionless and still, and as I mounted up the hill, the music in my heart I bore, long after it was heard no more. Whatever, this is, the full form is whatever. WHATEVER. Whatever the theme the maiden sang, that means whatever the subject matter of her song was. Maiden means an unmarried girl. The poet is presuming that the girl is unmarried. Whatever the theme the maiden sang, as if her song could have no ending. He felt that it was a music, a song which was going on continuously without any pause, without any interruption. As if her song could have no ending. I saw her singing at her work, and she was working continuously, and at the same time she was singing continuously without any pause, and over the sickle bending. Over, O-V-E-R, this O apostrophe E-R, this means over. And over the sickle bending. The sickle is a gardening tool, or it's an equipment which is used for harvesting. And she had this sickle in her hand, and over the sickle bending. So she was bent over the sickle, and she was busy with her work. I listened motionless and still, and while I was wandering up the Scottish hillside, I waited for a while. I listened motionless. I stopped moving, and still, and motion without making any movement, I listened to her song. And as I mounted up the hill, and then eventually as I continued with my journey, as I mounted, means as I climbed up the hill, the Scottish hillside, the music in my heart I bore. That means I still carried the music in my heart. Bored means carried. Long after it was heard no more. That means the music was so deep, it was so haunting, it was so melodious that I got totally influenced by it, and it haunted me. It came back to my mind repeatedly long after I had heard it no more. This is what the poet means, that the music in my heart I carried long after it was heard no more. That means even after he had crossed that area, and maybe he had reached his hotel room, the beauty of the song kept haunting him, kept following him, and he remembered it for a long period of time. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. For prose related explanations, visit my other YouTube channel, Class Remotely. A video featuring the summary of this poem will be uploaded very soon on this channel, Quick Poetry Knowledge. Subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos. And please check out the playlist. You will find a lot of poetry explanations in this channel. Meet you again very soon. Bye.